Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona, and today I'm going to do something that I thought I probably would never do again, and that is I'm going to do a live unboxing of the latest electric recording company title. Here it is, still sealed. I thought I would never do this again because I've had a few problems with this company in the past in some of their releases. There's a 4-inch seam split. There's like bubbles in the vinyl. No, dropouts are part of the record. There's actually like glue on the cover. I mean, that cover is still bowed. Look at all the scratches. Can you see on the spot gloss? It's got big chunks of scratches on it. The embossing doesn't line up with the actual lettering. You also got like track lines. There's a cut in the jacket here, so there's a cut line. But the way the cardboard is like bent over, you can see whitening in the spine. There is actually Sharpie marker on this. Somebody markered this record. They actually took a Sharpie to this record. But it's one of my favorite records of all time by my absolute favorite band of all time, The Doors. I have many, many, many versions of this to compare it to. One of my favorite is actually the 7.5 IPS reel-to-reel. Not vinyl, I know, not really fair. But I also have these. Many, 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 many copies. And I just couldn't see not having what's going to be deemed as the Uber copy in my collection. So yeah, I'll run you through many of these right now. Some of these that I've got. I've got the Doors 45 RPM. I've got the DCC. I've got the original Mobile Fidelity. I've got multiple Japanese pressings with various OBs. And then I've got multiple US pressings from different plants. Monarch pressings and, you know, just every pressing imaginable. I've got it in mono. I've got it in stereo. Again, I'm a big fan of this record, as you could see, so I just had to give this one a try. Now, this record in general from ERC has a little bit of controversy surrounding it as a, you know, compared to some of their other releases, because when they originally announced this, Steve Hoffman came out on his forum and said that this record is going to not be very good because it is made from an EQ Lito tape that sounds like Dookie. And no amount of futzing would get this tape to actually sound good. That actually immediately resulted in Electric Recording Company deleting their announcement. And it kind of just went into the abyss. You couldn't access it on their website anymore. Never heard anything about it. Some months later, it just popped up as being for sale. And yeah, here it is. So, you know, I'm going to try to be as absolutely impartial on this as I can be, as positive as I can be. I do own many of their records. You know, in full disclosure, I'm not the biggest fan, not because I'm not about buying $500 records, but because when I buy a $500 record, I want a $500 worth of record. You know, I want a nice, clean, minty, perfect record. If you're only going to make 300 of them, you're going to charge $500, do a good job. That's been my criticism. But people grow, companies grow. Maybe this is the growth moment that I've been waiting for, and we're going to get just a beautiful record. I don't know. So I've got many, many, many people that are willing to sell me ERC records, and this record here came from one of those people who wasn't a fan of this release and said, "Hey, Mike, would you like it? I'm going to buy it." And I said, yes. So nobody over there at ERC knows that this is actually coming to me. So this is as fair as an unboxing as can possibly be done. This is just a record that was sent to one of their customers, and I'm going to do a live unboxing. I got to say, seems a little bit more solid than ERC's in the past. Here we go. Trying to do it live on camera. I don't want anybody to say there's any funny business going on, just in case something odd is going on with this record. When I was unboxing previous ERC records, I never thought I would have some of the issues I did, so you know, you never know. Okay. cover the edition number, but there it is. The Electric Recording Company in true mono. So it looks like they actually have started putting them in these bundles of cardboard and shrink wrapping them. I think the last one I got was done the same way. That is an improvement from the original way that these were sent out, which was just loose to where they could create issues. All right. So I think I'm going to start the first half of this video off as, oh, they don't stamp it, Electric Recording Company anymore. They're just filler pads. I think I'm going to just do the unboxing of this record. And then I'm going to, after that, I'll come back later on and I will do a kind of a review, quick review, and I'll kind of compare it against the, you know, what is that, 10 dozen copies I got there. Okay, in the tissue paper with the COA. So far, this looks in good shape. And it looks straight in the tissue paper. Okay, some people try to save this tissue paper. I mean, get the hell out of here. That's tissue paper. You can't save it. Okay. So there it is. True valve recording. I truly do love the doors. I'm gonna just cut this top. Let's take that out of there. Again, I don't want my customer to be outed, so I'm going to hide the COA number. But there it is, embossed. Put that over there. Very cool. The jacket actually, let me show you guys what's going on here. Wow, this looks good. We're doing good so far. We're on the right track. Photo looks good. You know, the form of printing, you can kind of tell that this is like not embossed, but done in a process that kind of is like the original. You know, it's that printing process that they do. Very cool. Beautiful tip-on jacket. Thick, yeah, this is nice. This is clean. I'm excited so far. There is actually, well, there's kind of like, I don't know if you could see that there. There's like this wettish type of glue. It almost looks like the record got wet here. Yeah, what the hell is that? Oh, can you see that? Am I losing my mind? It literally looks like this side of the record got wet. Maybe they used a little bit too much glue to apply the tip-on jacket. Can you see that? Right there? Try to move it a little closer. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the cover is clean. It is straight. Let's check out the record. You know, I'm not normally this picky on a record, but I normally don't pay $500 for a record. You can get a beautiful analog cut, not mono, but of course a stereo for, you know, 60 bucks. So you gotta ratchet up your criticism, you know, at least 8 times to match the price level that this record is. So they replicated the original Electra sleeve. Printed in the UK. They have nicely put it inside of a Nagaoka sleeve. Now, the record itself is absolutely filthy, but I don't blame them for that. Records are extremely filthy new. They just tend to be dirty. And I've been saying for years, you have to clean your new records. Big, massive, deep groove. Look at that. I mean, it's a clean record. I mean, it's nice and clean. All right, this might be so far a little other than that little bit of edge glue. Who knows that? I don't know. Maybe that'll go away. Dries out more. I don't know what the deal is. What's causing that? But I'm going to have to definitely clean this because it is filthy. But yeah, I am going to clean this and then come back later on and edit a review into this video. I will say, as a whole, this is the cleanest out of the gate electric recording company record that I've got. I don't think I would... Yeah, I might actually complain about this if I didn't purchase this through somebody else, because they probably would send a new jacket, and it's not the biggest deal. But this is... So far, so good. This jacket is clean. The sleeve is clean. There's no seam splits. The jacket's not warped. The record's not warped. It's not scratched. Doesn't... Yeah, there's been no touching up. So, yeah, this has been, so far, a massive, massive improvement. The thing that worries me the most is Hoffman's comments when he said that this is a record that is essentially non-redeemable, that this is a faulty copy that can never be approved upon. It's bad to begin with, and there's no amount of futzing that'll make it sound better. But let's give it a try. I'll be right back. All right, it's been a day and I am back. I've spent a lot of time listening to this record, a lot of time listening to various other pressings of this record, and I want to just remind you guys that this is a review. This is my opinion of it. Don't sue me. Okay, with that being said, I had some more time to look at this cover, and I gotta say, out of everything I've received from ERC in the past, this is truly a beautiful cover. I'm not thrilled about this bleeded glue. It looks kind of like water damage. I showed you this on the previous video. It kind of spoils the edge of the record. But when you hold this, it really truly is a beautiful cover. I wish this was the style of cover that was included with UHQR's, One Steps, ultra premium records. You don't have to charge somebody $500 to include this type of cover. The money that is spent, for instance, on a UHQR box would be much better served with this very high quality offset printing cover. Yeah, it's hand done. This is still very common around the world, especially in the United States with boutique printers. This can easily be done, and it does cost probably a significant amount more money, but it can be done. And I think this is actually the better way to go when it comes to ultra high quality covers. It needs a little work. It's not Sharpied. It's not scratched. It's got glue on the outer edge, which I still think is unacceptable for a $300. Keep saying, I want to say $350. It's not. It's 350 pounds. It's roughly around 500 US American dollars to get this puppy delivered to your door. Way too much money to have any issues whatsoever. And this cover still does have issues. But, you know, you get a recreated cover. You get this recreated sleeve. I mean, I applaud all that stuff. Let's get to the sound of the record. If you don't want to watch this review anymore and you just want the general gist of how it sounds like shit. This is a horrible sounding record. This record is highly defective. I assumed it was going to be a poor sounding record because the mono never sounded good. It was always inferior to the stereo. And the stereo itself doesn't sound that good. It was not a well-recorded record. But you kind of think to yourself, well, maybe the touted analog cutting chain could improve upon that. Could it make it better than it was in the 60s? It's a possibility. You buy the record hoping and assuming that. No, it did a disservice to the music. Not only did it do a disservice to the music, but the tape is extremely defective at this point. This should have never been released. It should have never been put into production. Forget about the fact that it was sourced from the Lido tape, which is a duplicate EQ'd master that's pre-EQ'd, has pre-compression on it. Forget all that. The tape itself is audibly in extremely poor shape. There are phasing issues, there's wow and flutter issues, there's high frequency drop-off issues. It literally sounds like I purchased a reel-to-reel tape from somebody on eBay. Not this one, of course. This is a pretty reasonably good shaped tape. But as a reel-to-reel guy, it's kind of like when you buy a highly defective reel-to-reel and it comes to your house and it's all crumpled up and there's bits of metallic, coming off of the tape, the metallic particles. You put it on and it's just, that's what they put on a $500 record. You just have to hear it to believe it. I took a video of it on my cell phone and I sent it to a buddy of mine. This was just me holding my phone up and I was like, you gotta hear this. It is an absolute hot mess and it's the worst on Break On Through, which is the opening track in the record. It is absolutely disgustingly shitty, and it is worse than the Bernie Grundman cut, Vinyl Me Please, the mono RSD box RSD cut, the Bernie Grundman cut that was in the box set. All of those fixed-ish some of the issues. The ERC exacerbated everything that is wrong with this tape. Did a little bit more research. Bruce Botnick, the engineer for the Doors, is on record as saying that the tape had major issues. When they digitized it for the Vinyl Me Please box set, or the Vinyl Me Please reissue, they were able to address some of those issues in the digital domain. But this is a tape that was acknowledged to be defective that was used on a $500 product. And all I could think to myself as a Doors fan is this is just one more example of the Doors fans being exploited. And that's another topic, and I can give you a long history of that. But as a Doors fan, we've been exploited by management. But this is like a double exploitation. The Doors camp putting out or allowing a very inferior product to come to market at a very inflated price. And then the Electric Recording Company for doing it. It's a horrible sounding record. And I got what I deserved by paying $500 for this record, knowing what I knew, but thinking that, I'm a big fan. Maybe there's a chance that they did some magic here. Their system is beneficial in some scenarios, and I've mentioned it in the past. In this scenario, it just took a record that was suffering from issues and it exacerbated it. It made the music mushier. It killed Jim Morrison's vocals. The bass is just... everything about this record that was wrong with it was exacerbated from the original mix. Then you tack on 50, 60 years worth of tape damage, and it's just boom. It's just absolutely awful. And I'll give you a little bit of advice. If you're out there and you're listening to reviews on this, I know a lot of people are never going to have the chance to listen to this record. But if you hear anybody telling you that this record is a sonic marvel, it's good, it's enjoyable, you need to consider the people that you're listening to, because it is awful. And it is an absolute disservice to you, the viewer, to tell anybody that this is a good sounding record. It is a defective record. It is horrible in every sense of the word. It just is. Don't waste your money on a mono pressing of this record. None of them sound that good. There are less shitty sounding copies of the stereo record, but it is a record that has never sounded good. The best thing a Doors fan could possibly get at this point would be to have the multi-tracks used for an all-analog remix. If they care about Doors fans, if they want to put out a product that Doors fans can get behind and spend a bunch of money on and feel good about it, remix the damn album, do it properly, stop using EQ masters, remix the record, then allow these mastering engineers to be able to work with that. If I had the ability to do it, I would pay Bruce Botnick in a minute to do it. I would pay for that production. That's not going to happen, but I'm telling you, that's the only way that this record will ever be fixed. And that's what somebody really should have did with it. I mean, it's yeah. I really do want to like ERC and what they're putting out, and it might not seem that way because every single video has been negative. And maybe I just haven't bought the right record, and maybe the right record is out there. I'm sure this will not be the last Electric Recording Company record that comes across my way, whether it's something that I seek out in the future or it comes in a collection. I buy a lot of big audiophile collections, and audiophiles tend to buy these records. But I got to tell you, if you're buying these records thinking you're going to make a bunch of quick cash, the free tendies are coming your way, you're mistaken. You could still buy that Electric Recording Company White Stripes record, I think, on Third Man's website now for retail price. You know, maybe once the FOMO of the original announcement wears off, which is quite quickly, these records, in a lot of cases, tend to go for very close to retail. Some don't, and I'm sure some of them sound fantastic. I would hope people are not crazy enough, myself excluded, to keep buying these things defect after defect. Oh man, I just don't know what to say on it anymore. Very defective product. It's just, I would never, as a company, and I know I can go on a little bit of a rant here, as a company, if I made a product, and I did the Wild Times with my buddy Johnny D, if I was ever to even conceive of putting a $500 product out, when I got that tape and I put it on the deck, got my lathe all spun up, and I heard that, I would never, in good conscience, could ever sell that to somebody for $500. And if I was forced to, it would have to be with the biggest caveat ever, as letting the consumer know that you are buying a record from a highly defective tape. Sometimes labels should just pass. You don't have to just put out everything that's given your way if you want credibility on your brand. There are times where, you need to just say, this isn't something that I can do as a company. It's sonically, there's issues. We're just going to pass on this. But if you don't have the ability to do that as a company and you just voluntarily put out extremely subpar crap, then it's not about the music for you. It's just straight about the money. And, this is a good business model because there seems to be 300 suckers lined up time and time again. Again, I wish I could find one of these that just didn't have wild defects. I, to this day, would love to hear these great sounding ERC records that everybody seems to get, that I, at 8, 9 records in, can't seem to get. I'm assuming they're out there. I'm going to keep trying. I have a feeling one of them is going to come up. I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear the reason everybody's paying $500 for these records. This isn't the video I'm going to hear it on. So enough rambling. That's all I got. Until next time.